Recently, and for the first time in franchise history, the Toronto Raptors retired a player's jersey, and that player was Vince Carter, which sparked the question of who is going to be next. Well, we know the next player that's going to have their jersey retired is Kyle Lowry, but after that, who is going to be next? And could it potentially be DeMar DeRozan? I asked Raptors fans if they thought his jersey would ever get retired, and here are the results. Welcome back, everybody. This is Amateur Sports 2, the second channel in the Amateur Hour Production Network, where we go through additional Toronto Raptors content in videos just like this. Also, if you haven't checked out my main channel, Amateur Hour Sports, with over 17,000 subs, please do so. But if you enjoyed what you see from this video here, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content just like it. I'll try to do a little bit more often than I have been doing. So the major question came after Vince Carter had his jersey retired by the Raptors. And it's been a while now. This video is a little bit delayed, but I still wanted to know from Raptors fans what they thought about DeMar DeRozan getting his jersey retired one day. And a lot of this conversation was sparked from the drama, pretty childish drama, I might add, between DeMar DeRozan and Drake. Drake was at the Vince Carter jersey retirement night. The Raptors broadcast team, the commentator team, perhaps made the ill-advised decision of giving Drake a headset and a microphone to be on national television, but the conversation around who's going to be next and potentially if DeMar DeRozan will have his jersey retired one day came up. And if you don't know, which maybe you're lucky if you don't know, there's beef ongoing between Drake and DeMar because Drake has beef with Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar made a music video that had DeMar DeRozan in it where they were dissing Drake. There's a feud there, okay? And when asked about DeMar DeRozan's jersey being hung from the rafters one day, Drake said if they put DeMar DeRozan's jersey up there, he's going to climb up and take it down himself. DeMar DeRozan then in the post-game press conference said he's got a long way to climb up and essentially insinuated that DeMar felt, he didn't say anything like this, but by saying he's going to have a long way to climb up, he almost insinuated that he believed one day the Raptors would retire his jersey. And personally, I wasn't sure how to feel about that because it's complicated with DeMar DeRozan because he spent 9 very successful seasons with the Toronto Raptors as an individual, but that individual success did not really carry over into the playoffs, and it ended with him being traded away to the San Antonio Spurs for Kawhi Leonard, and that year, the Raptors won an NBA championship. So I decided to try and gauge the opinion of the fan base, and I asked you guys, the Amateur Hour Army, what you thought about this, and here are the results of the poll. And pretty resounding, 73% of voters said that DeMar DeRozan should have his jersey retired by the Raptors when his career is over. Honestly, as far as the results here, I thought it'd be a little bit higher than 73. DeMar DeRozan, obviously, there's some negative connotations associated with his time with the Raptors because of the lack of playoff success and perhaps his poor performances in those playoffs. And honestly, his poor performance for his tendency to play poorly in playoffs has kind of carried over to his other teams. But we cannot forget about how much DeMar DeRozan accomplished with this team and how important he was with this team to get them even in the position where they can go and win a championship. When DeMar DeRozan arrived, when he was drafted in 2009, this was a team that could not retain its players, especially its good players. But alongside Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan did a lot to change that. He had 4 All-Star appearances with the Raptors. There's probably his 3 All-NBA. He probably had at least 1, maybe 2 All-NBA appearances with the Toronto Raptors. Yeah, 2 All-NBA appearances with the Toronto Raptors as well. There just wasn't that playoff success that we were looking for, which is why in the end he had to get traded to the San Antonio Spurs, where there's been additional success with Chicago. There wasn't that same success, though, with the San Antonio Spurs. Nonetheless, some phenomenal seasons, a 27-point-per-game season here. Plenty of 20-plus point-per-game seasons here. How many did he have specifically for the Raptors? 5 20-plus point-per-game seasons with the Raptors. Blossomed into a star player. Decided he wanted to stay extended with the Raptors. Wanted to be here. Wanted to win in Toronto. And it really is a shame how things worked out. It's just part of the business, and the Raptors, they could go back, would do it again because it helped them win an NBA championship at the end of the day. So on top of all those great numbers and all those great individual seasons, even when we go to the Raptors' all-time numbers, DeMar DeRozan is carpet bombed through this whole thing. Most games played by a Raptor at 675, which is above Kyle Lowry at 601. Most minutes played, of course. If he's above in games, he should be above in minutes played. Most points, 13,296. Kyle Lowry in second with 10,540. That's a lot. Like, to be first in games played, to be first in points, that's really impressive for a player to do for a franchise. I know the Raptors haven't been around, as long as some other teams, but that's still something that's incredibly notable. And, you think about how long Kyle Lowry played. He's still behind DeMar DeRozan in these. He's behind DeMar by 74 games. He's behind DeMar by like 3,000 points. So who's going to be next? Who is going to pass this? Because DeMar DeRozan, on top of playing 9 seasons with the Raptors, it was 9 healthy seasons with the Raptors as well. The lowest amount of games he played was 60. But in 7 out of the 9 seasons, he played at least, how many games? At least 74? Wow. In 7 of his 9 seasons, he played at least 74 games. So those career numbers are going to be incredibly difficult to beat for anybody to pass, and they're going to stand probably for a long time. The only player like right now who looks like he maybe has some sort of an opportunity to ever pass what DeMar DeRozan has done for this franchise in terms of like all-time numbers is like maybe if Scottie Barnes continues to push forward, it continues to develop, he can get to that point. But what I'm saying is his legacy with the team is absolutely what he built, what he helped build. That's his legacy. Obviously, I've had some negative words about his playoff performances, and I think that the trade needed to happen. But his legacy with the Raptors, for me, and I obviously can't tell you how to feel, but I think how you should feel his legacy is proving that the Raptors can be a good team, because I think up until they showed up, we didn't really believe that could be the case. And I think more importantly, not only can the Raptors be a good team, good players will want to play and succeed in Toronto. It's a damn shame that it never quite clicked and this team never quite got over the line or even really got close to getting over the line for a championship while DeMar DeRozan was here. But he changed the culture. You talk about Vince Carter changing the culture. Vince Carter did not want to be in Toronto. The only reason Vince Carter is claiming Toronto, is retiring as a Raptor, is getting his jersey retired here, because he has no other choice. There's no other team that's going to claim him, because he did not nearly have the success anywhere else that he did in Toronto. He did not want to be here, but this is all he's got to cling on to. DeMar DeRozan wanted to be here. So if we want to honor a culture shift, the player you need to be honoring, in my opinion, absolutely, is DeMar DeRozan, and he will be one of the 3 players who I think are virtually locks to be retired at this point. Vince Carter already has his number in the Raptors. Kyle Lowry is an absolute lock, and I think DeMar DeRozan should be as well. So do you agree with the 73%? What do you think? Should DeMar DeRozan have his jersey retired by the Toronto Raptors? Do you think Drake is actually going to climb up and take it down himself? I feel like that's not going to happen, but give me your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. That's it for me for today. Check out the other channels in the Amateur Hour Production Network. This is my main channel with over 17,000 subs for Raptors content with higher editing. This is the Stream Clips and Highlights channel for the best stream clips and highlights from the streams on this channel here. Subscribe to my Raptors 905 channel and subscribe to the channel you are currently watching on. And I'll see you next time for another video right here on Amateur Sports 2.